All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started now. I just want to welcome everyone to our first Southwest Zone Town Hall Zoom meeting. My name is Joe Linehan. I work for USA Water Polo Sports Growth and specifically Texas Development. I hope everyone and your families are doing well as we all adjust and adapt kind of during the COVID-19 epidemic. I know we are all looking forward to seeing each other on the pool deck very soon. Again, this is our very first Town Hall Zoom meeting. We will be doing these sessions every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. until the end of May. Each week, I'll be joined by one or two guest speakers, and we will focus on a single water polo subject for athletes, parents, and coaches. And we'll take questions as needed, from everybody. Of course, everybody's welcome. I hope these sessions, will give some insight and some clarity into some various aspects of water polo here in Texas, while also kind of providing an opportunity for everyone to ask questions. All right, before we get started, here are some ground rules. First, this is our first time doing this, so please be patient as we work through kind of any of the technical kind of issues and such. Please put your Zoom meeting in speaker view, just so you can see the person that is talking and such. Please make sure you are muted. If you have a question, please unmute yourself and ask your question, and then go ahead and mute yourself again, or just simply ask in the chat feature. Again, please ask questions as we go, even if it's interrupting, myself or the guest speaker. And now for today, our meeting topic is going to be just the current and general water polo landscape in Texas in the Southwest Zone, with all that is going on. Robert Albach is going to be our guest speaker, and he's going to talk about the Southwest Zone in general. Afterwards, I will discuss some of the major announcements of the past couple of weeks regarding high school, the National Junior Olympics, and the upcoming Southwest Zone calendar. Again, we are happy to answer any and all questions as we go, so please do not be shy. Again, today's guest speaker is Robert Albach. He's going to be on the phone. He's not going to have a kind of video today. He's the Southwest Zone chair, and he's also the head coach for the Austin Water Polo Club. So, Robert, I'm gonna cede the floor to you. So, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Joe, and everybody. Thank you for making some time this afternoon to spend it with us, and hopefully, the information that I'll be able to provide to you will have some value. If you have any questions that might arise, feel free to interrupt. If you want to ask something privately, or you think of something later on, I would encourage you to send me a note. My email address is RALBACH, and that's at gmail.com. So feel free to send any notes, slings, or arrows that you might have my way. So my hope today is I'm going to give you a little bit of understanding about the zone, its governance, your representatives on the board, and what it is that we do and where we stand with regards to the national headquarters and other types of environments. I'm very pleased to see that we have at least two board members here. So Christy, thank you for coming on, and I see Angela Uno as well. North Texas well represented, and well done again, folks. So the Southwest Zone Board and the Southwest Zone. Southwest Zone is one of 11 zones that USA Water Polo has. We are comprised of 4 different states. So that's Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. As you might guess, there is, I think, very little water polo outside Texas, sadly enough. But there are some things that have been going on for a number of years, particularly, say, within New Orleans and with Tulane. And we've got some budding things in Oklahoma, but not budding well enough. And of course, most of you here and most of our activity is clearly here in Texas. And of course, much of that is to the thanks of Joe's hyperactivity and sponsorship by U.S. Water Polo of a position such as his.
It takes a village, Robert. It takes a village, Robert. There's lots and lots of people that you got to think out there. There's a lot of very hardworking coaches and parents and athletes. So,
well, it's great to be part of the village people here, Joe. So, just a fun point here, and I'll give kudos to whomever can first send me the first email. As in, You may know that the first NCAA water polo program took place at Texas A&M. Coach Fosdick was the last coach of that program. We have a current program up at Austin College, but there was another NCAA water polo program in our zone. So first person to send me the correct answer as to where it was located, I will give you guys a nice call out somewhere. So with that, we'll go ahead and move forward a little bit on the zone board. We've got members, and we purposely, tried to recruit a balance of geographical, gender, and different roles here. I myself, zone chair, I'm based in Austin, Texas. I am a club admin, I coach, and I play water polo. I don't know what else there is. Oh, I'm a referee too. John Reitmeyer is the vice chair. John is based in San Antonio, and John also runs Topo. And as such, he is actually an elected member of the group. We have Angela Uno, who's on here. She is the co-zone chair. All right, so she's not elected at this point in time, although I wouldn't be surprised at some point in the future she runs for a position. But she is also a member of the zone board as well. Jim Linehan, you may note the familiar last name, is based down in Houston, and he is our treasurer. And then we've got Christy Winkler, president at Thunder Water Polo, also a parent of a player. Kristen Oliver, coach, player, board member based down in Houston. Scott Slay, coach, down in that area. And then the other head referee with Angela is John Reitmeyer yet again. So that comprises your zone board. All right. The zone board is an extension of USA Water Polo. All right. And as such, we basically serve at the pleasure of USA Water Polo. We zone board members have been having monthly calls this year for a number of reasons, part of which has to do with the extraordinary circumstances that we find ourselves in, unfortunately, and trying to, frankly, be a little more proactive with regards to the decision-making that's being done in order to keep our sport going and yet try to minimize the less pleasant impacts that we're having on many of you and many of us as well. I want to thank everybody who responded to the survey that I put out with regards to JO participation. It was very helpful. That was actually initiated by zone board members on our own, and then fed back to the headquarters with regards to what the general feel is and what the impacts are. We clearly are impacted, as everybody else is, but we don't seem to have quite the complications that a lot of our brethren do in some of the other zones. So believe it or not, we're actually somewhat lucky. Now, the fact that West Texas Intermediate dropped below 0 isn't particularly helpful in our long term, but we all have our different burdens to bear here. One of the responsibilities I have is to create the zone budget. And so let's see if I can actually share something here. Share screen, and let's go with Google Drive. Let's see. And you folks let me know if we're getting that.
So as you're doing that, I did get a private chat message. They said the University of Arkansas Little Rock was the other
excellent program. I want to know who figured that out and didn't Google it.
That was Joe McCummins from Houston.
All right,
so.
Joe. I
had a roommate
dear, congrats.
that played there. He was in the last class at Arkansas when it was a program. So that's the only reason.
Fantastic. May I know his name?
Oh, it was Bahadi, I think it was. He was Turkish. He moved up to, went to Queens afterwards. So he went from Little Rock, Arkansas, and then came up to Queens College, I think, for his last senior year. So
he left Turkey, moved to Arkansas, and then went to Queens, New York. That's quite a journey.
Yeah, but like I said, he was one of my roommates. He's quite a bit older than me, but that's how it's the only reason I knew.
Sorry to get you off topic there.
All right.
So
I'm
let's
gonna
get
go
back on
That's
topic.
great. Nope, I appreciate you guys doing that. So can you see what I'm sharing now?
Yes.
And the next question is it legible?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, so here's the zone budget that we proposed. Number of items here, total budget $7650. You might figure out we don't have lots and lots of money. And what money we do get comes from zone-sponsored events, which we'll talk a little bit in a little future here. So assets, hard assets. We've got sets of clocks that we share in different geographies. There's a set sitting in my garage right now for Central Texas. We've got a set in the Houston area. And once things get busy enough again, we will get another set for North Texas, which will sit in Joe's garage at some point going forward. Associated with that, you'll see we've got asset maintenance. Some of these clocks get broken. We have to get them repaired.
And those and for everybody, those clocks are can be used by any high school and any club that kind of needs them in those geographical areas. So
exactly right. I mean, we recognize that competition is what builds the sport, the opportunity to participate. Sometimes we'd like to have these particular assets, and not everyone has them available to you. So that's an expense that we look forward to having once everything comes back online again, and we can say, yes, let's go ahead and pull the picket on that. Second line item, referee development, $2,000. Very, very pleased with the job that Angela, she's responsible for referee growth and retention. We've got a phenomenal set of numbers in terms of new referees that have come online, so fantastic to that. And these numbers, this money here is whatever she needs to do in order to get more referees and to get our existing referees trained and promoted. So a lot of that is often associated with in-tournament evaluations of referees doing their business. Ad hoc zone development. This is money for Joe to use as he so wishes, and he's moving this forward. Actually, Joe, I'll let you describe what you're going to use that for at some point. But just recognize that, again, this is the zone investing in general development within our space. Connor Cup expenses pretty much speaks for itself. Arbiter expenses, this is what we have to pay to be able to use Arbiter to get people paid in a rapid fashion, particularly for our own zone-sponsored events. And then just some kind of ad hoc numbers here and there. So that's essentially our budget. If you want to understand, that's probably about 50% of what we have in terms of our financial assets. We do make that much and more from zone-sponsored events. The Spin Lob has gone from being a Longhorn Aquatics event to actually a Southwest Zone event. If you're not familiar with the Spin Lob, this is arguably our most competitive event within our zone area. We have teams like New York Athletic Club, the Olympic Club, lots of Olympians showing up at this event. It's very much a Masters staple around the U.S. We have players and teams from other countries actually come by. We also have tags, and we have the JO qualifiers. All of these things are made possible traditionally because of the hard work of Joe, shouldering everything and taking things on. But one exciting new development is that we've now got a committee headed up by Scott Slay, a board member, and Joe's going to talk a lot more about that. But this is just a really great step forward, decentralizing decision-making, getting investment and buy-in from a geographically dispersed set of people who are active within our zone, and basically making things happen. So just all-around goodness from that. And that generates revenues that we in turn are able to use and reinvest back in the zone, as you see within the zone budget. So let me just pause there. I've been yakking fairly nonstop for 13 minutes now, and ask if there's any questions or comments that I could offer you. And again, R. Albach, R as in Robert, A as in A, L as in Lima, B as in Bravo, A, all C as in cat, H as in hotel. And you can send that to gmail.com if you want to send something directly.
So, hey, Robert, can you stop sharing your screen, please?
I will stop sharing, and I think you can go ahead and grab control again.
And thank you so much. And for those that aren't aware, the Southwest Zone, again, it's one of 11 zones within USA Water Polo. For national events, there's qualification through the zones. There are kind of national conferences where, like USA Water Polo is a 501c3 nonprofit, so there's kind of representation from the Southwest Zone at these annual conferences and meetings. The zone chairs kind of get together on a monthly or every other month basis to discuss the various issues that are going on. So water polo is kind of not a very big world. So we're just trying to concentrate today on Texas and the Southwest Zone. But Robert, thank you so much, for joining us today. So any questions? Any questions? All right, so what I'm going to talk about now is a little bit about kind of the big announcements that have kind of gone on here over the last couple of weeks. The first big announcement was that the Texas high school season was canceled. What basically happened was Governor Abbott decided that it was going to be remote learning at all schools on kind of for the rest of the school year. Then that made the UIL, which kind of oversees all sports in Texas, kind of cancel the rest of their spring season. And then kind of Tisca Water Polo that runs the high school season for club water polo until it becomes a UIL sport in the fall of 2021. Kind of Tisca Water Polo then decided to follow suit as what the UIL did, and they canceled their season. And then that was a Tisca Water Polo board decision. So so that was canceled. So there's going to be no more high school water polo season in spring of 2020. Does anybody have any questions on the spring high school season? All right. And then the other major decision that was kind of moved, like that kind of was announced within the last couple of weeks, was the USA Water Polo National Junior Olympics was moved from the summer to the 14-12s and 10 and unders are now during Thanksgiving week. And then the 18s and 16s are now during the holiday break between Christmas and New Year's. It was untenable to hold the National Junior Olympics in California this upcoming summer in July. The reason being is there are just way too many question marks regarding the availability of pools. Are fans going to be able to come in? And also the teams, are they even going to be able to train prior to an event? And how much access are clubs, et cetera, kind of going to have this summer? We don't really know yet here in Texas what our access is going to be. But so USA Water Polo, we really wanted to have a 4-day event, a 4-day championship event. And the only time in the fall, winter timeframe, to do that is going to be during Thanksgiving, and then also kind of during the Christmas break. Is this the best? This is the best of the bad solutions. So we still want to have a National Junior Olympics, and we still want to have that national championship for all those athletes and that trip and that experience. And yes, there are going to be some challenges kind of moving forward for qualifications and kind of traveling around the holidays, but those are going to be the dates, and more information is going to be coming both from USA Water Polo and the zone regarding the event and the qualifiers as we move into the summer. Are there any questions on the National Junior Olympics? So I know there was a lot of questions I got via email and phone calls and such. So does anybody kind of have any questions here? This is your opportunity to ask some questions. So
yeah, hey Joe, it's Wes.
Yes.
So hear a lot of rumors that the seniors will or will not be allowed to play in December? What's the story there?
There's been no official announcement specific for the seniors. Now, the age as of date for the Junior Olympics is going to be August 1, 2020, which would have been the same exact age as of date for the Summer Junior Olympics. There is nothing that's been 100% decided yet, but I do believe that we are going to allow all graduating seniors that would have been eligible to play this upcoming summer to play at JOs this upcoming fall winter. Now, those seniors that might have some NCAA issues and such, they're going to have to figure that out on their own, because there are different rules between Division I, Division II, and Division III NCAAs, and they're going to have to talk to their compliance officers and talk to their coaches to see if they're going to be allowed to play in those events. So, but yes, we are moving toward allowing all people that kind of would have been eligible to play this upcoming summer to be able to play this fall winter. Yeah, does that answer your question, Wes?
It does indeed. Thanks, sir.
Does that bring up any more questions?
I have a question, Joe. This is Lisa Palmer from Trident Water Polo, and
Yeah,
I
yes,
guess
Lisa.
I've been struggling with, I understand they've scheduled it over 2 holidays, so now
Correct.
we've got to travel over holidays, but we're now coming out of when we practice the least,
I
and
understand.
California's practiced the most. And I'm kind of reconciling, how do I tell my club this is a good decision? I mean, as it is, we're always behind the 8 ball with California anyways. Now it's just going to be a slaughter. I mean, we barely practice at this time of year because we're all swimmers. I'm sure it's the same for everybody.
I think everybody's going to have to adjust kind of a little bit, and there might be. I know the fall season used to end in the middle of November, basically, and then everybody had some sort of club water polo in December, January. We might have to now kind of extend from the middle of November to the end of December as far as tournaments and practices, and all clubs are going to have that challenge, and everybody's going to have their own needs. So it's going to be one of those things where I don't know if they're going to be playing their best, because the California's going to be coming off of their high school season, and which is probably like about 75% of California is going to be coming off of their high school season, which is going to end the end of October or early November. And so they're not going to really be playing with their club teams all that much kind of leading up to JOs. And our clubs are going to be kind of playing with their club teams from, whenever we can get back in the water until JOs. So yes, there's going to be some challenges, but the only alternative to the current dates that they have was canceling the tournament completely. But I do believe that JOs is still going to be a great event for everybody that chooses to attend. So.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. Any other questions, guys, about JOs? I
do. Actually, Joe, this is Edwin. Storm.
Yeah, welcome.
So this JOs is going to go off in November and December. Would we then assume that JOs 2021 will be 7 months after?
Yes, the plan is to have kind of JOs in 2021 be like the normal time, the end of July.
Okay. So we gotta formulate budgets for in 6 more months. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of adjusting and adapting for the climate that we have right now, and then kind of getting back on track in 2021. At least that's the plan right now.
Joe?
Yes.
I'd like to put it out there. I don't know. So I think a lot of clubs are going to have maybe like 3 14U kids or 5 12U kids. Can we figure out a way that the zone can work together for this JOs to try to make sure that any kid who wants to go to JOs gets picked up on a team?
I think that we can work together amongst the clubs, and if there is if there are some kids out there that don't have a team to quote unquote play with, they can contact me, and I can help kind of put them together with a club. I know I've done that in the past, and I'll continue to do that moving forward. But I believe this is a time when everybody's going to come together and work to find solutions kind of for the athletes, because I don't think any club is going to, like, if they brought 10, like if Thunder kind of which is your home club, if y'all were planning on bringing 10 teams this upcoming summer, it might only be 6 or 7 in November and December. And I think everybody's going to be like a little bit less, and everybody is going to be looking to cooperate. So yes, we will look into options moving forward. So.
Yeah, and then Christy, this is Robert. It's a great question. I love the sentiment. I can tell you that in the Austin area, this is a common occurrence for us. So the kids of ours that went, some of our 10 and unders played for Houston, right? And then some of them, went with the Longhorn consortia that we usually have around here. So I would really encourage everyone to not think that, oh, my local club isn't going to be able to field something. We would love for everybody to reach out and express, their interest, and we'll find spots. I think there's plenty of opportunities.
Yes, and that's my number one goal. I want everybody that can go to JOs to be able to play at JOs. Although, I mean, if their home team just couldn't make it work because of the move, I'm going to be calling people and trying to make it work. Yeah, for everybody. So, coaches out there, if you have some people, please feel free to talk to each other or just contact me. So, that sound good, Christy? Oh, good. All right. Any other questions about JOs? All right. Well, good. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you going to talk about JO quals separate from
Yes.
the national event?
Yes.
Okay. I'll hold my question then. Thank you.
Okay. Now, so in my mind, there have been 3 big dominoes that kind of needed to fall for us to start planning kind of a little bit. And the first one was the high school, kind of what was going to happen with the spring high school season. The second one was the National Junior Olympics. And then the third one, which we probably don't know and we won't know for a couple of weeks, is when our team's going to be able to get pool access for practices and competitions again. I think it's going to be different between all different pools and in different school districts and the different the different municipalities that are out there. So knowing that we may not know that for a few weeks, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick. The Southwest Zone Events Committee and myself and a bunch of the local host clubs, we decided to get together over the last couple of weeks and come together with a tentative calendar. So I got that email out to all the coaches, the athletes, the parents, late last week and this past weekend. So if you go to the Southwest Zone website, kind of which is here at the southwestwaterpolo.org, and then you click on calendar, you're going to have all the different events. So basically everything is basically postponed, etc., or canceled up until June. And then we have events starting in June. So we talked about, we have three various calendars that we have right now. The one that's out and currently on the Southwest Zone website is if we get pool access starting in June. All right. We also have a version that if we get pool access starting in July, then we also have a version if we get pool access starting in August. So we do know that it might be different kind of for everybody. To give you an example, we do want to have the TAGS water polo tournament, kind of which is the 8th grade and 6th grade and under state championship. Now, if we can't really have that event in June, if not everybody starts in June. We want to be able to have that event to where everybody can compete. And then obviously same thing for the Southwest Zone qualifiers for for NJOs. So some little highlights of so this is a tentative or a proposed calendar, but this hopefully will give everybody an opportunity to start kind of planning moving forward as we all kind of slowly reopen. Now, some of the highlights here, obviously the Dallas Summer Classic is going to be in late June. We're hoping to put tags kind of with the Dallas Summer Classic if we can all get back in the pool in June. The Southside Suns Out, Guns Out. There is going to be the TAF kind of games at Texas. That's going to be a 1,400 and 1,200 event. That's going to be in Corpus Christi. That's part of a little mini Olympics. We're hoping to have a couple additional tournaments in August. The Welcome to Texas Shootout was moved to Labor Day weekend. So we're hoping to have that and bring some teams in from out of state kind of for that. And then we're going to get into the Southwest Zone NJO quals. So as of right now, we're going to try to do the Southwest Zone NJO quals for 18 and under boys and girls before kids go off to college. Okay. So that's going to be early August. That's of course, only if we can get in the pool in June or July. Now, if we can't get in the pool in June or July, then that quals is going to move back to a later date, because we want everybody kind of be able to train and have access for that. So, and then for the other qualifiers, we're going to have a tournament in late September at the Armadillo Classic. It's going to be the 26th and 27th of September. That's going to have the 14 and the 14U and 12U divisions, plus any other teams that aren't trying to go to JOs. So it's going to be one big kind of 14 and 12 and under tournament. Then the following weekend at the Sci-Fair ISD Natatorium in Houston, we plan on having the older, like the 16 and under division. So that'll be there'll be other divisions for teams that aren't trying to go to JOs as well. So that is the current plan right now. Again, the 18 and unders in August, just before they go back to school, especially those graduating seniors that are going off to school. If we don't get back into the pool until August, well, that'll move to the same weekend as the Shark Fest, and then we'll have the 18 and the 16 and under divisions in October, along with the Shark Fest. So, any questions on JO quals? I know somebody had one a second ago.
Yeah, this is Joe. Thanks, Joe. And first of all, thanks for putting all this together. This information is super helpful. One question, or really it's more of a comment. We're CISD, at least right now, so far, we're being told that we may not get back into the pool until somewhere early or mid-July. I don't know if other areas or districts are experiencing that same issue, but it may be a while. And we're told even when they do open it up, and as would be expected, it's going to be a very controlled environment.
Of course.
So not really a question there, just a heads up that.
Yeah, and I think everybody's going to be a little different, and we're going to try not to have any of our quote unquote championship type events until everybody's back in the pool and everybody has a chance to train and compete prior to those championship events. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, but if we can start having a couple events, because let's just say the Houston area schools are letting people use the pools and people can train, but the North Texas are closed. Well, that doesn't mean that the Houston teams can't start kind of having tournaments and such. So, but we're not gonna have any kind of like the tags and the Southwest Zone quals and any big championship type events until everybody's back in the water. At least that's our goal. So, any other questions on the Southwest Zone calendar, guys? On there, we also have the ODP dates. So a little bit.
Joe,
go ahead.
So here's an idea regarding the quals. If teams aren't sure, in other words, what I would think would be a good idea is to kind of have a message board amongst all the teams and putting all the divisions, 14s, 12s, 10s, 16s, 18s, boys, girls, and saying, okay, who's going to plan on going? And if we get 3 teams that want to go for the 14Us, do we really need to do a qualifier?
So what's going to happen is USA Water Polo, we have not kind of dictated an entry deadline or an entry date yet. We have to go back and redo the all the allocations. So and then once we have all that information, then we're going to send out all the information to all the schools or all the clubs, and everybody's going to be able to kind of sign up. And then once we have that information, then we are going to probably go down division by division, kind of to determine, all right, do we need a qualifier here or do we not need a qualifier here?
So can we start doing that? Let's be proactive about it. I think that's a good idea. Let's do it now, and
we can start doing it now. I mean,
set up the setup for the message board so anyone can view. Maybe Robert can put it on the website for the zone, so everyone can view. Okay, teams right now that are interested in going, dot, 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 dot. And so that would at least have me thinking, ooh, if I'm not going to take a 12, I can call so-and-so.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's above, you know.
And as of right now, I know Robert did his survey a couple weeks ago, and there is just so many questions right now that, you know, we don't know when the qualifier dates are. That might determine kind of when like we have an idea when the qualifier dates are going to be, but you know.
Yeah, but Robert's email said, or that survey, which is really good because it still asked one of the questions, because I do remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, one question was, are you okay with the dates? Yes or no? And the other one was, are you still going to go to JOs? Yes or no? So,
Yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, it's one of those things where yes, I will start collecting that data. I will start emailing kind of everybody. I think that's a great idea to start having an idea kind of moving forward. Again, anybody that answers it, it's not going to be binding until you actually do the actual sign up. And we may not have that information for another month, but I will start moving forward, Ed, with that idea. Yeah.
Hey, Joe, it's Colby. We started to do that just to get a sense for our parents to say, look, you know, now that we're in the Thanksgiving and Christmas time, you know, who still has interest. So I think probably every club is in that same, you know, kind of mode of, you know, we thought we were going to send 6. Now we think we may make, you know, 3 or 4. Yeah. So to Edwin's point, if we can start today, maybe we can't like start sharing that out, but if each club can be directed to start, you know, getting their own survey together and understanding what it might be, then we'll be ready to, whenever we have something more set in stone on the dates, we can throw all that out there and really match it up and just have it be more knowledgeable. Because I know today we wouldn't be able to say that. It's going to take us probably a couple of months or 6 weeks before we really can dial parents in to say, yes, we're going to go.
Yeah, I will definitely get that information out and kind of have a living document so everyone can kind of update their information as they go. So I will definitely do that. So.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to just make a comment, and there's a little bit of cyclical, paradoxical logic going on here. I mean, part of which was, okay, we're going to move this back to these dates. How many teams are still going to come? Because that then starts driving questions like, how many pools are we going to have? And does this become financially viable for USA Water Polo?
Exactly.
So forth and so on, right? Okay, so we do this initial feel survey, right? But we also know there's a lot of space time-wise between now and the point in time that, you know, the final decisions are going to be made. A lot of things still up in the air. So while we've got an initial, and I'll actually say the initial results were fairly positive. I mean, people were fairly positive in their attitudes at the least. But again, a lot of time between now and then. Who knows what could happen? We have to do reallocations. All sorts of stuff. And certain zones have sort of said, no, this thing's going to fall apart for us. We know at least.
Robert, to your point, that reallocation, and Joe, you also made that point. I didn't even think about it. But yeah, reallocation of how many teams are allowed to go per the previous 48.
Yeah, and that is still being worked on, and because they may not have it like as much access to pools for the entire event, they may not be able to have a championship, a classic, and invitational for all the various age groups and divisions. But yes, I believe the overall feeling is the JO tournament this year is going to be a little bit smaller than it has been in the past. It's not just from our zone, but it's going to be from all the different zones. And yes, I think sharing like everybody's information and working together kind of moving forward is going to be best, you know, for everybody. But we all know that things are going to change as, you know, as we define the qualifying dates, as we define the entry dates, as we define the allocations. So. That sound good? Any other questions as far as JO Quals is concerned? The main reason I wanted to have this call today was because of the calendar, just to get that out to everybody. Please make sure you kind of look at that and start planning a little bit. And I hope, and we will be coming back again as coaches and kind of club admins, but this kind of it's hopefully going to be a roadmap to us kind of getting a little bit kind of piece of normal kind of moving forward. Now, some other quick little announcements. Any other questions? Yeah, just before I get to that, as far as the calendar is concerned. Any other questions? We are going to do like a future kind of town hall meeting with ODP as soon as kind of some of those questions are answered. So but the dates are on that calendar now, the ones, and then we're gonna have a ODP date in September in Austin, in October in Houston, and in November in North Texas. So we're not gonna have the back-to-back days again. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again real quick. One of the things I put in the email I sent last week is the Save the College Sports. I think everybody has an opportunity to kind of go there. There's a movement to kind of, for this upcoming school year, to reduce the number of sports, and that's a concern for all Olympic type sports or the non-revenue type sports. So please share this with anyone and everyone. And there's a survey on there. This would be bad, not only for other Olympic sports, but also water polo. So we definitely don't want them to kind of not have men's water polo this fall. So please definitely kind of share that. Also the TX water polo website, for those that have not been there kind of already, it has it has podcast news, it has a Best of Texas kind of tournament for this entire April. There's also kind of different education pieces. We also have the Texas kind of coaches to coaches here as well. So what that is, this is some professional kind of development that we started kind of this week with different coaches are giving a presentation once a week on this is only for coaches. This is not for athletes. That is either Scott Slade did counterattack. We had Chris Cullen do center play. We have Mark Lawrence this upcoming Thursday is going to do kind of movement and balance in the water. And then we have a whole schedule kind of moving forward into May. So so those are going to be on Thursdays at 12:30 p.m. We have our town hall meetings are going to be every Tuesday kind of moving forward at 6:30 p.m. Next week, I'm going to be joined by Angela Uno, and then we're going to talk about, the current state of referees in our zone, but also like the new USA water polo rules. And for those that don't know, the USA water polo rules were also adopted by high schools. So starting this upcoming school year, in the 2020 to 2021 school year, we are going to be playing with the USA water polo rules in high school. So that's going to be for next week. And then other future kind of meetings are going to be ODP kind of playing water polo in college, UAL fall water polo in 2021. Again, if you have any thoughts or suggestions, please let me know. Kind of my email is joelinehan@usawaterpolo.org. Does anybody have any questions now? I do appreciate the time. Yeah, for everybody kind of getting on board. I'm going to try to keep these between 30 and 45 minutes. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Again, I do appreciate it. Thank you, Robert Albach, for coming on. Again, his email is ralbach@gmail.com, and my email is joelinehan@usawaterpolo.org. I hope everybody kind of has a good night, and thanks, and take care. Be safe and stay healthy, guys. Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
You'll
Thank
take
you.
care. All right. Bye.